Welcome to part 3 of our College of Nurses documentation standards. So let's just quickly look to see how long by law that a facility has to maintain a record. And it depends on who is governing the facility. So there's different legislative branches that oversee hospitals and nursing homes. So if an adult patient is in a hospital, you would need to keep that record for 10 years. If an adult patient is in a nursing home, well, only adult patients are in nursing homes, you would keep it for 5 years if the patient died while they were in the nursing home, and you would need to be keeping that record for 20 years if they left the nursing home alive. For instance, they left the nursing home and went to another facility, or they left the nursing home to live with one of their children. If your client is a child and you're documenting on a child, you must keep that record until that child is 28 years old. So if they're currently 10, you're going to need to keep it for another 18 years. If they're 16, we're going to just need to keep it for another 20 years. But all records must be retrievable. Again, this is the responsibility of your facilities. However, if you develop your own business, you're doing foot care or something else, then you're going to have to maintain your own records and make sure that they're retrievable and that you're keeping them for the set amount of time. And I would check with the lawyer to find out how long that you need to keep them. And if there's more than one agency that is providing care to the same record, if they are coordinating their care, you want to try and document everything on record. But if they're doing different aspects of care, they're going to need to have their own records. When there are multiple agencies that are helping to care for a client, sometimes information is shared via email or via fax. And when this happens, the law states that we have to advocate for different policies to make sure that that information is going to remain confidential and only go to the people that we are intending it. Making sure that the address is correct and know who's going to be at the other end to receive it, and that they are able to maintain the confidential nature. So for instance, when I worked at CCAC, Community Care Access Center, we would get orders that were faxed to us from a physician's office. And then we would process those orders, and that we would contact the client and collect information, and then we'd send that information along with the orders to an agency that was going to be providing that, perhaps VON, Bayshore, to physical therapists. And so we needed to make sure that only the appropriate agency was going to receive, and we tended to send by fax. And one way that we made sure that only the correct agency and that it was going to the correct fax where the appropriate individual was receiving it was we had pre-entered phone numbers. And so, again, that is part of our legal responsibility in healthcare. Sometimes there's incidents that happen, such as a client falling out of bed, or that they've accidentally been given the wrong medication or the wrong dose, or something that wasn't intended happens, an incident happens. When this happens, we want to record the information in the health record, but you're wanting to be very factual about what happened, what was observed, what is the patient's condition, what did you do? Most likely you notified the doctor, what were the tests that were ordered as follow-up. And if there's other clients that are in there, and again, in order to maintain their confidentiality, that you would refer to them via initials. Most agencies like to follow up with any type of unusual incident report so that they can be prevented, and so that they'll have a separate area in which to record the stuff. And at the Health Alliance here in Chatham, they call that system RiskPro. The end. And so, in summary, when nurses are meeting the documentation standards, they are communicating health information clearly, they are demonstrating accountability for their actions, and they are meeting the requirements dictated by the law.